সবাইকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি আজকের এই আলোচনায়। দর্শক, আপনারা জানেন আগামী ২ জুন অন্টারিও প্রভিন্সের নির্বাচন অনুষ্ঠিত হতে যাচ্ছে এবং এই নির্বাচনটিকে আমরা দেখছি অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ একটি নির্বাচন হিসেবে নানা কারণে, এবং বাংলাদেশি কমিউনিটির জন্য অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। এবার বাংলাদেশি কমিউনিটি থেকে বিভিন্ন আসনে ৩ জন নির্বাচনে প্রতিদ্বন্দ্বিতা করছেন প্রধান ২ টি রাজনৈতিক দল থেকে। তার বাইরে বিচেস ইস্ট ইয়র্ক নির্বাচনী এলাকাটিকে বরাবরই বাংলাদেশিদের একটি হাব হিসাবে বিবেচনা করা হয়, বাংলাদেশিদের কেন্দ্র হিসাবে বিবেচনা করা হয়। আমরা যে ড্যানফোর্ডকে বলি বাঙালি পাড়া, সেই ড্যানফোর্ডটিও কিন্তু আসলে বিচেস ইস্ট ইয়র্ক যে নির্বাচনী এলাকা, সেই নির্বাচনী এলাকায় অবস্থিত। আমরা যে ক্রিসেন্ট টাউনকে বলি, মেসি স্কোয়ারকে বলি, যেখানে বিপুল সংখ্যক বাংলাদেশি কানাডিয়ান বসবাস করেন, কিংবা বাংলাদেশ থেকে অভিবাসন নিয়ে প্রথম কানাডায় এসে যারা যে এই জায়গাটিকে বেছে নেন থাকার জন্য, ক্রিসেন্ট টাউন কিংবা মেসি স্কোয়ার কিংবা ড্যানফোর্ড কিংবা ভিক্টোরিয়া পার্ক, এই এলাকাগুলো হচ্ছে বিচেস ইস্ট ইয়র্ক নির্বাচনী এলাকার আওতার মধ্যে পড়েছে। এবং বিচেস ইস্ট ইয়র্ক নির্বাচনী এলাকা থেকে এবার লিবারেল পার্টির প্রার্থী হিসাবে নির্বাচনে প্রতিদ্বন্দ্বিতা করছেন মেরি মার্গারেট ম্যাকমন। Uh, uh, my apology if I pronounce wrongly. Uh, আমরা মিস ম্যাকমাউন্টকে অনুরোধ করেছিলাম, যেহেতু বিচেস ইস্ট ইয়র্ক এলাকাটিতে প্রচুর সংখ্যক বাংলাদেশি বসবাস করেন এবং তিনি এই এলাকা থেকে এমপিপি হতে চাচ্ছেন, নির্বাচনের প্রতিদ্বন্দ্বিতা করছেন। নির্বাচনে বিজয়ী হলে তিনি তার এলাকার জন্য কি করবেন, কি করতে চান, সেই সব বিষয়ে তার প্রোগ্রাম, হোয়াট শি ওয়ান্ট টু ডু ফর দ্য পিপল অফ হার রাইডিংস, we wanted to know from her directly. So we invited her to speak with us, and I'm grateful, and I would like to thank her despite her busy schedule, because the 2nd June is the election, and this time any candidate, no matter which party she is nominated for, uh, every single candidate is busy now. It is quite tough to get time from them. But again, uh, Ms. Mary Margaret McMahon, she agreed to talk to us because what she told us, that she loved, of course, all the people of her riding, but especially she has special soft feelings for Bangladeshi people, because she is like the closely associated with the people of Bangladeshi community in her writing. So welcome, Mary Margaret McMahon, and thank you so much for giving me time.
Thank you so much, Shaugat, for having me here. And my last name is complicated. There's a silent H, so it's McMahon. Like I always say, it should be McWoman, but it's McMahon.
McMahon.
But you can call me MM or Triple M. That's what.
Okay, Triple M. Triple M, McMahon. Thank you so much. So first of all, let me to introduce you to our audience. Better you tell us who you are. How do you present yourself to your voters, and why you are running for the public office?
Thank you so much. So I grew up in a small town in Collingwood. Some of you may be familiar with Blue Mountain, with Sagor Beach, and my dad was mayor of Collingwood. And at that point, as a teenager, I said, I will never, ever go into politics. And, never say never. And so I did many things in my life, but I did a lot for my community. I was raised as a big volunteer. It's very meaningful to me. The more you give, the happier you are, actually, and the better the world is. And so I did a lot in the Danforth and Woodbine area where I live. And started a farmers market, Eastland Park Farmers Market, started a residents group, some environmental groups. I'm a big environmentalist. And then I thought, well, why don't I just spread that passion and run for public office and hopefully become the city councilor. And we did that in 2010. It was a big upset. We won by a landslide. No one expected it. But I ran on term limits, like getting into the city hall, trying to do a good job, and then getting out and of allowing someone else to take on that role, because it's very hard to usually beat an incumbent. So I was trying to level the playing field. So that was a principled stance that I took. Anyways, then I was working in the private sector, and actually, the Green Party asked me to run provincially first. And then the Liberals asked me to run. And as a big environmentalist, I'm getting back into this, the main reason for the climate to deal with the climate emergency. And I thought, well, I got to get in to actually do something. So why don't I green the Reds? And I've always had an amazing working relationship with, well, across party lines, but especially with the Liberals, with our um, beloved MP Nathaniel Erskine Smith, and with Arthur Potts beforehand, and with others. So I'm running to be your next member of provincial parliament for Beaches East York. Fingers crossed. We are. I'm trying to get my fingers. We're out pounding the pavement every day, and we're in it to win it. But I need your help.
Sure. You were before you were city councillor in this area, ward number 32, and I think you have came across with so many Bangladeshi people while you were working as city councillor. This time, a significant number of voters in your riding belongs to the Bangladeshi community. How much interaction do you have with the Bangladeshi community? How do you evaluate the Bangladeshi community in your riding or like the as a whole in Canada?
Yeah, and my riding when I was Beaches East York was the lake to the Danforth. So I wasn't fully. I didn't have my Bangladeshi community was only part of of my ward, but of course, I was always involved with the other counselor to the north and the politicians, and so I met many beautiful Bangladeshis and enjoyed time with them. But now with my campaign, I actually have two, well, more than two, but two solid community leaders working on my campaign. I also have a team of Bangladeshi leaders helping on my campaign. We just did a walk in Banglatown this week, and we got lots of signs up in the community. I got the delicious chai from Alam at Gora, and we did some shopping. I bought some red pants, and I bought a red carpet. And I've been out to Eid celebrations, the prayer, and just really, we've been concentrating. We've been at this for over a year, door knocking and meeting people. And we've been mostly focused on East York because we feel the beach knows me to an extent. Let's focus on them. And now we're getting down to the beach now. But have spent a lot of time in Crescent Town, Massey Place, and East York. And it's been great. The International Mother Language Day event with the new beautiful statue memorial.
So what we call Shohid Minar in our language.
Sorry, how do you say that?
In our language, we call it Shohid Minar.
Shohimila. Okay, I got to write that down. And I'm trying to learn some Bengali, but I'm just learning. And so it's been an eye opener, and it's been lovely to meet such wonderful and warm people who just care about, love Canada, care about their community, and want to build a better future. I'm happy to do that with them.
And you were talking about Crescent Town and Massey Square. And like the Crescent Town and Massey Square, there are so many Bangladeshi people living in those buildings and those areas. And nowadays, very often, we hear about different problems that face people who are living in Crescent Town and Massey Square. Are you familiar with those problems? And what you want to do to
Yeah,
resolve all these issues?
yeah. I'm familiar with some issues, not all of them, because I haven't met everyone, and it's pretty brief interaction at the door, just trying to get your name out and introduce yourself. Excuse me. And but I'm really worried about the climate emergency. But what we're hearing at the door, right across the riding, is affordability and how expensive things are and how expensive it is to live in Toronto. And so for the Liberal Party, we are addressing that. We just came out with our a dollar a ride transit program. We're trying to get people back on the transit. Um, there's a lot of congestion on the road as well because we in COVID we're all driving again. We're looking at a universal basic income. We're looking at um, uh, uh, helping with removing the HST off prepared foods, And the housing crisis alone is a serious problem in Toronto. So we're looking at building more affordable and deeply affordable homes.
Uh, okay, so one interesting thing I wanted to just mention. You were talking that like the Liberal Party uh, is trying to, or like they have announced that they will introduce bucket right, like the $1 right. And last few years actually we had another word, bucket beer. So Conservative Party current premier Dartford, he has introduced like the bucket beer, and Liberal Party, like the EU Party, wanted to introduce bucket right. Quite interesting thing. Now you are talking about like the affordability. But if I want to know from you, like the while you are walking through the areas, while you are talking to the people, or like the since you are going to the, or you wanted to be the representative of this riding, what are the major issues you think facing people in your riding?
Yeah. So people are worried about, affordability. We hear a lot, but we also hear about education. Kids have had a really hard time in COVID. Sometimes they're learning online, sometimes they're learning in person or hybrid. They've lost 2 years of their life socially. And so, we're looking at doing educational reforms, capping class sizes at 20, in person learning, getting rid of the EQAO testing, figuring out a better system, looking at an optional grade 13. Some kids aren't ready to leave home at that age. And so I had grade 13, I loved it. So, sorry. So looking at that, as well as putting in some mental health professionals um, in the schools. We we know mental health issues are paramount these days, and we want to for everyone, but we want to give the kids the supports they need. Healthcare, our frontline workers have been overworked and underpaid and underrespected for years. So we're looking at raising PSW, the personal support workers' wages. We're looking at, seniors, helping seniors age in place and not warehousing seniors like we did. So many died and were injured and were ill. And most communities. I lived in Japan years ago. We no one treated their seniors like like the way we do. They valued and respected their seniors. Um, and housing. I have a 24-year-old upstairs, and I'm you know, where is he going to live? My 23-year-old's out west, but where are these kids going to live? It's not, you don't, it's great to rent and it's great to own, but like we don't even have the supply to properly do that, the prices are exorbitant. So we're hearing about everything at the door, actually, Shaugat.
And like the to alleviate like the working poverty, like the
Sorry.
people working poverty.
Yes.
So what social initiative do you think your party can take to get people out of the poverty level in your riding, especially?
Yeah. So we are looking at, we're trying to reduce prices for things like transit. I think that's been well received, and I like your line, buck a beer, buck a ride. Only the buck a beer was never delivered. The cheapest beer in the store you could get was $1.60 something. But we need economically. We're in a crisis with the transit, and also environmentally. We need to get people more comfortable with going back on the transit. We're looking at There was a pilot to look at doing a universal basic income, and the current government, provincial government, scrapped that. We need to bring that back. We saw in COVID, with all the assistance from the federal government, the CERB, that it was very beneficial to people. And we need to take care of each other and our neighbors. And we have people dying on our street, um, homeless people and people, who can't find a place to live. And how can we let that happen to our fellow neighbor? So we need transitional housing. We need supportive housing that's affordable housing that actually has the mental health supports. You can't just throw someone, in a place to live and then just leave them without the support. So we're looking at doing that, and so we have a whole plethora of ideas for that. You can look at the platform at the Ontario Liberal Party website and get into the weeds if you want. But we just got to get into power first so we can do it. We can actually do it, make a change.
And 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 when we look at healthcare, and we know like that we are far behind in
Yeah.
terms of healthcare for the people of the country.
Yes. A lot of people can't get their own doctor. So I have a great working relationship with the Michael Garron Hospital. I always have. Um, the CEO lives in our riding. Um, she won't want you to know where, but so we've been talking about that, hiring more. We're losing um, tens of thousands of nurses because they're just burnt out. So we're looking at hiring more nurses and offering free tuition and free books for nurse training. And we need to sit down with all these public health professionals and hear their stories. We do have Michael Garron Hospital working with East Toronto Health Partners during the COVID crisis, led the charge across the city, across the province in actual um, amazing delivery of the vaccination, and that's how you get things done. Um, is collaboratively working together, collaboratively and collegially working together uh, for the greater good.
And nowadays, the another big concern for the people of this city is law and order situation in Toronto, especially in Toronto. And every day there are shootings, stabbings, there are cars stealing, there are car hijacking. People are feeling insecure in their daily life. We see people dying on the road in car accident. What you can do to give the constituents sense of security, both in daily life as well as on the road.
Right. So, yeah, road violence and other violence. We have come out with policies around handguns and ensuring any arms are legal. And we had a horrible situation. We've had many horrible situations recently in Scarborough, but also on Danforth. A few years back we had a beautiful beach young liberal actually who was um, killed on the Danforth. It's very tragic. So we need to address that, and so we have measures in our platform on that. Um, you know, we it's great to have these ideas, and then you have to deliver them. So it's always the devil in the details, the execution, which we will work on together collaboratively with all stakeholders. Road violence, yeah, people are driving way too fast. Um, and I'm a car driver. I'm also a cyclist and a pedestrian. But we need to be mindful of everyone on the road that, 2 minutes or, to get you to your destination quicker is not worth someone's life. And so I was a big supporter at City Hall of the Vision Zero, our road safety plan, slowing down the some of the speed limits on streets, putting in safe, actually physically separated cycling infrastructure, sorting out the crosswalks, crossing guards, and the lights for pedestrians, making things accessible. We're hearing a lot about accessibility at the door as well. And um, just, I think everyone could do a yoga breath and take it easy and you know um, care about their fellow neighbor.
Yeah, that is very important. We are at the end of our conversation. So, in conclusion, what do you want to tell to the people in your riding before the election for your voters,
So I would say um, what you see is
especially for the Bangladeshi people, if you have
yeah,
any special message for them?
absolutely what you see is what you get with Triple M. And I'm a hard worker. I don't sit still. I have a million ideas, and I want to listen to your ideas. and I get things done. And so June 2nd, 2022, it's, I don't know, like 12 days away. I would love to have your vote. Vote for Triple M and Donovan.
ধন্যবাদ। ভোট ফর ট্রিপল এম।
Mary
দর্শক,
Margaret McMahon. But on the ballot, it's Mary Margaret McMahon.
রাইট, মেরি মার্গারেট ম্যাকম্যান।
Thank you so much for having me on here and for
আহ,
listening. And looking
দ-
forward to working together.
ইয়া শিওর। দর্শক, আমরা এতক্ষণ কথা বলছিলাম বিচেস ইস্ট ইয়র্ক নির্বাচনী এলাকায় লিবারেল পার্টির প্রার্থী মেরি মার্গারেট ম্যাকমনের সাথে। তিনি আগামী 2 জুন যে নির্বাচন অনুষ্ঠিত হতে যাচ্ছে, সেই নির্বাচনে বিচেস ইস্ট ইয়র্কের জনগণের ভোট চাচ্ছেন। এবং তিনি বলছিলেন এতক্ষণ ধরে যে বাংলাদেশি কমিউনিটির সঙ্গে তার যে সম্পর্ক, বাংলাদেশি কমিউনিটির প্রতি তার যে ভালোবাসা, তার যে অনুরাগ, এবং তিনি নির্বাচিত হলে, তিনি এর আগে সিটি কর্পোরেশনে নির্বাচিত হয়েছিলেন। ওয়ার্ড 32-এ তিনি সিটি কাউন্সিলর হিসেবে দায়িত্ব পালন করেছেন, এবং সেই অভিজ্ঞতা নিয়ে তিনি এবার বিশেষ ইস্ট ইয়র্ক নির্বাচনী এলাকার প্রতিনিধিত্ব করতে চান। এবং তিনি যে কথাটি বলছিলেন, শি হ্যাজ সো মেনি আইডিয়াস অ্যান্ড শি ওয়ান্টেড টু লিসেন ফ্রম ইউ, শি ওয়ান্টেড টু হিয়ার হোয়াট ইউ হ্যাভ টু টেল টু হার, হোয়াট ইজ দ্য স্টোরিজ, what is the problems, what is the innovative idea you have, and she wants to work on those ideas and those things. So তিনি বলছিলেন যে আগামী 2 জুন ব্যালট পেপারে লেখা থাকবে যে মেরি মার্গারেট ম্যাকমন, যদিও তিনি নিজেকে 3M বলছিলেন, বাট ব্যালট পেপারে তার নামটা, পুরো নামটাই থাকবে। তিনি বাংলাদেশি কমিউনিটির, আপনারা যারা আছেন, আপনাদের সমর্থন চেয়েছেন, আপনাদের ভোট চেয়েছেন। নিশ্চয়ই আপনারা তার 3M এর, মেরি মার্গারেট ম্যাকম্যানের এই রিকোয়েস্ট, এই অ্যাপিল, এই আবেদন আপনারা নিশ্চয়ই বিবেচনা করবেন। We hope you will consider her appeal, her request for vote. Margaret, Mary Margaret McMahon, thank you so much for giving us time in your busy schedule, and thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with the Bangladeshi community people through my platform.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you. আপনাদের সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ।